What your soulmate felt last night will leave you speechless. My beloved soul. Tonight, before you hear anything else, I want you to take a slow breath and place one hand gently on your heart. Because what I am about to reveal is not just information, it is a message that was meant to reach you. A message that traveled through emotion, memory, and energy. A message that began last night, in the quiet hours when the world sleeps, but the soul finally speaks. Your soulmate felt something unexpected, something powerful, something that rose from deep inside them without warning. And this feeling was connected to you, directly to you, in a way they can no longer explain or hide. Last night, something inside them awakened. They didn't plan it. They didn't look for it. They weren't prepared for it. But it happened. And it shook them. Your soulmate didn't understand this feeling fully at first. They only knew that something in the air felt different. They felt your presence, your energy, your warmth, as if you were sitting right next to them even though you were far away. Their heart recognized something their mind had been avoiding for a long time. They felt you. They felt the connection. They felt the longing. They felt the love that still exists between you, even if life has placed both of you on different paths for now. My beloved soul, your soulmate didn't just think about you, they felt you so strongly that it almost frightened them. They couldn't understand how someone they haven't spoken to in so long, or someone they couldn't fully express themselves to, could still affect them so deeply. But last night, the truth rose inside them. They realized they never stopped carrying you. Not even for a single day. They realized that no matter how much they resisted, denied, or distracted themselves, the bond between you remains alive. It's like an invisible thread connecting your hearts. A thread that pulled their entire emotional world toward you last night. They kept turning in their bed, trying to ignore the memories. But memories don't ask for permission. They arrive when the heart is ready. And their heart was ready. They remembered your smile. They remembered the warmth in your eyes. They remembered the comfort of your presence, how you made them feel seen, valued, and understood in ways nobody else ever did. They remembered the softness in your voice. The way you laughed, the way you cared even in the smallest things. And suddenly, everything hit them at once. Your soulmate felt a deep ache in their chest, the kind of ache that only comes when someone realizes the value of something they almost lost, or something they still hope to find again. They felt regret. They felt longing. They felt love. They felt fear. But most of all, they felt the truth. And that truth was simple: their heart still belongs to you. Last night, they sat quietly, trying to distract themselves with their phone, music, or anything that could disconnect them from the overwhelming emotions. But it didn't work. Every song reminded them of what they felt for you. Every quiet moment reminded them of how much you changed them. For the first time, they understood how deeply you touched their soul. They realized they never met anyone like you. They never felt this way with anyone else. They never experienced a connection that reached them on a soul level. And this realization hit them like a wave, sudden, powerful, impossible to push away. My beloved soul, your soulmate felt your absence last night in a way that left them breathless. They realized how empty their heart feels when you are not near. They wondered how they could have ignored their feelings for so long. They asked themselves questions they had avoided for months, maybe years. Why do I still feel them? Why can't I let them go? Why does my heart come alive only when I think about them? Why does every part of me still choose them? They didn't have the answers. But they had the truth. And the truth was enough to shake their entire emotional world. They felt a pull toward you, a soft, magnetic pull they couldn't fight. They felt a desire to reach out, to check on you, to know how you are, to see if you still think about them. But their fear held them back. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of your reaction. Fear of losing the last bit of connection they believe still exists. Because deep down, your soulmate thinks about you far more than you know. They wonder if you've moved on. They wonder if someone else has your attention. They wonder if you still feel them the way they felt you last night. And even though they are afraid to admit it, they hope that the answer is yes. Because last night something deep inside them whispered your name. Your energy wrapped around them like a warm blanket. They felt a sense of comfort they haven't felt in a long time. And that comfort, that safety, that peace, all came from you. Your soulmate didn't just feel love. They felt realization. Realization that you are not just a memory. You are not just someone they once cared about. You are someone who changed them. Someone who awakened emotions they didn't know they could feel, someone their soul recognizes. They closed their eyes and let the feelings wash over them. And in those moments, they saw you. Not physically, but with their heart. They saw the version of you that once stood close to them. They saw the version of you that loved them without holding back. They saw the version of you that still cares, even if you stay silent. And that vision made them emotional. They wished they had treated you differently. They wished they had been more open. They wished they had not pushed you away. Because now they understand how rare your love was. Your soulmate realized that you didn't come into their life by accident. You were meant to touch their soul. You were meant to show them a love that goes beyond words. You were meant to reveal a connection that can survive distance, separation, and silence. Last night, they finally admitted to themselves that you are the person who truly mattered. Even if life became complicated. Even if pride got in the way. Even if fear made them run. Their heart always stayed with you. My beloved soul, they felt an emotional storm last night, one that made them question everything they thought they knew about love. It was overwhelming, intense, unforgettable. But it was real. And it was about you. They didn't just feel something. They felt everything. Your soulmate may not say it out loud. They may not show it in obvious ways. But last night proved one thing: your soul has a permanent place inside their heart. They felt the connection. They felt the pull. They felt the truth. And that truth is going to lead them back to you in ways you cannot imagine yet. My beloved soul. Last night, while your soulmate was trying to calm their restless heart, something even deeper began rising inside them, something they had hidden, suppressed, or forgotten. It wasn't just emotion this time, it was memory. A memory that came so suddenly, so vividly, that it stopped them in their tracks. It was a moment with you. A small moment. A simple moment. One that you may not even remember. But they do. Because for them, that was the moment they first realized you were special. They remembered the way you looked at them that day, not with judgment, not with expectation, but with understanding. With warmth. With a kind of honesty that very few people ever gave them. Your eyes, your silence, your presence, all of it made them feel something they didn't fully comprehend back then. But last night, they finally understood what that moment meant. It was the moment they fell for you. It may have been soft. It may have been silent. It may have been hidden beneath their fear. But it was real. As they lay awake last night, that memory replayed in their mind over and over again like a movie they had no control over. And with every replay, their heart tightened, because now they fully realized the magnitude of what they almost lost. They realized you weren't just a person in their life. You were a turning point. A lesson. A comfort. A blessing they didn't know how to handle. My beloved soul, your soulmate didn't just feel love last night, they felt regret. A regret so heavy that it rested in their chest like a stone. They wished they had held you closer. They wished they had expressed their feelings. They wished they had not let fear make their decisions for them. Because the truth is, they were afraid of how deeply they loved you. You touched their soul in a way they had never experienced. No one had ever understood them the way you did. No one had ever seen through their smile, through their silence, through their defenses, the way you did. And that scared them. So they pulled back. They distanced themselves. They tried to convince their heart you were just another person. But last night proved they were wrong. You were never just another person. You were the love they tried to run from. You were the connection they tried to bury. You were the mirror that showed them who they really were. As they lay there, staring at the ceiling, they felt your absence like a cold wind. It wasn't loneliness, it was realization. A realization that life moved forward, but their heart stayed in the same place, the place where you left your mark. Your soulmate thought about your strength. How you handled things alone. How you kept going even when you were hurting. How you always tried to protect their heart while yours was breaking. They realized something important: you loved them with a purity and honesty they couldn't believe or accept at the time. And instead of embracing that love, they ran from it. Last night, that truth finally caught up with them. They felt guilt, not because they meant to hurt you, but because they didn't know how to love you properly back then. They didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to open up. They didn't know how to stay when things became emotional. But now, life has changed them. Experience has humbled them. Loneliness has softened them. Time has opened their eyes. And losing you has awakened them. For the first time, they see the difference between a temporary connection and a soul connection. They've met people, talked to people, tried to move forward. But no matter who came or went, nobody reached their heart the way you did. Nobody made them feel alive the way you did. Nobody brought that softness into their life the way you did. Nobody touched their soul the way you did. My beloved soul, last night they finally admitted to themselves that they miss you. Not out of habit, not out of nostalgia, but out of genuine love. They miss your voice, not because of the words, but because of the comfort in it. They miss your presence, not because it was constant, but because it felt like home. They miss your energy, not because it was intense, but because it was real. And it hit them that they may have pushed away the one person who truly understood their soul. Last night, a question echoed inside them, a question they hadn't dared to ask before. What if I was meant to stay with them? What if I walked away from something that was destined for me? This question shook them. It made them look at themselves in a way they had never done before. It made them confront their fears, their mistakes, their ego. It made them realize that the distance between you isn't just physical, it's emotional. And they created that distance. But now, they want to close it. Your soulmate felt a strong urge last night to message you, to call you, to somehow reach out. They even picked up their phone multiple times, typing a message, deleting it, typing again, deleting it again. They wanted to say something simple, I miss you. But they stopped themselves, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. They are afraid of saying the wrong thing. They're afraid of hurting you again. They're afraid of not being enough for you anymore. They fear that you've healed beyond them. But deep down, they also hope that maybe a part of your heart is still waiting. Last night, they imagined what it would feel like to talk to you again. They imagined your reaction. They imagined hearing your voice. They imagined the peace of reconnecting with you. Their heart felt warm. Their soul felt light. For a moment, the world felt right. But then fear returned. What if I don't deserve them? What if they're happier without me? What if they don't want me back? And that fear kept them silent. My beloved soul, your soulmate is fighting a silent battle right now, the battle between their love for you and their fear of losing you forever. They want to come forward. They want to open their heart. They want to tell you everything they felt last night. But they need courage. Life has been teaching them lessons, and last night was the biggest lesson of all. They realized that love isn't about perfection. It's about truth, connection, and vulnerability. And you are their truth. As they drifted into sleep, their last thought was you. A soft hope whispered inside them, maybe, one day, we will find our way back. Their soul still reaches for yours. Their heart still chooses you. And last night showed them that no matter how much time passes, this connection is unbreakable. My beloved soul. Last night did not end quietly for your soulmate. Even after they tried to sleep, their heart kept calling out to you. Their soul felt restless, as if something unfinished between you was asking to be healed. They didn't just miss you, they felt your energy beside them, surrounding them, touching them in a way they had not experienced in a long, long time. They felt your warmth. They felt your presence. They felt the echo of your love gently brushing against their tired heart. And instead of pushing it away like they always used to, last night, they allowed themselves to feel it fully. For the first time, they did not fight the connection. They didn't resist. They didn't deny. They simply accepted it. They accepted that you are a part of them. They accepted that no matter how much distance life created between you, their soul never learned how to forget you. And last night, something inside them surrendered, something proud, something scared, something guarded. That part of them finally softened. As they lay there, your soulmate felt a strange mix of peace and pain. Peace because their heart finally admitted the truth. Pain because they remembered how they hurt you, how they walked away, how they stayed silent when you needed them the most. They thought about the times you waited for them. The times you tried to show them love. The times you tried to hold the connection together all by yourself. They felt the weight of their mistakes pressing on their chest. It wasn't guilt alone, it was realization. A realization that they were immature back then. A realization that they didn't know how to love properly. A realization that you gave them a kind of love they didn't know how to receive. And last night, they finally understood something important. They weren't ready for you before. But they are becoming ready now. My beloved soul, your soulmate felt a deep longing to undo the past. They wished they could go back in time and tell you everything they kept inside. They wished they could show you how much you meant to them instead of hiding behind fear. They wished they could hold your hand and promise to never let go. But the past cannot be changed. And they know that. So instead, last night, they began to change themselves. They started questioning why they always pull away from the things that matter the most. Why they hide their emotions until it's too late. Why they run instead of communicate. Why they allow ego to stand between them and their happiness. And all these questions led them back to one place, you. You became the mirror that exposed their emotional wounds. You became the lesson that taught them about sincerity. You became the reminder that love requires courage, honesty, and effort. Your soulmate didn't just think about the past, they thought about the future too. They imagined what it would be like to talk to you again. Not as the person they used to be, but as the person they are becoming. A person who has learned. A person who has grown. A person who now understands the value of love. They imagined reaching out. They imagined your name on their screen again. They imagined hearing your voice, soft, calm, healing. And in that imagination, they found hope. But hope is fragile. And fear is strong. Your soulmate is afraid of being rejected. They fear that too much time has passed. They fear that they lost their chance with you. They fear that someone else is standing where they once stood. But last night, they also felt something stronger than fear, their longing for you. They wondered how you are these days. They wondered if you smile the same way. They wondered if your heart still remembers them. They wondered if you still think about them late at night, the way they thought about you. My beloved soul, they didn't just feel emotions last night. They felt a pull. A pull toward you that no distance, no time, no silence has been able to break. They felt a desire to make things right. To heal what was broken. To rebuild what you once shared. To rediscover the connection that changed both of your lives. Your soulmate's heart whispered something they had been avoiding for so long: go back. Find them. Talk to them. They were your safe place. But life has taught them that returning requires strength. And strength is something they are slowly gathering. A part of them even wondered if the universe was sending them a sign last night. A sign through dreams, through memories, through sudden emotions. A sign that maybe it's time. A sign that maybe the connection between you is not over, only paused. As they closed their eyes again, trying to calm their racing heart, they saw moments, flashes, pieces of what you once shared. Your laughter. Your kindness. Your patience. Your softness. Your care. Your soulmate felt overwhelmed by how deeply you loved them, deeper than they deserved at that time. And last night, they finally understood how rare and precious your love was. They felt the loss. But they also felt hope. They imagined walking up to you one day, not with excuses, but with honesty. They imagined telling you everything they couldn't say back then: I was scared. I wasn't ready. I didn't know how to love. But I never stopped thinking about you. And they imagined the possibility, just the possibility, that you might listen. Not because you owe them anything. Not because you are still waiting. But because the connection between you is real, deep, and unforgettable. Last night, their soul whispered what their mind refused to say: you are the one I still choose. They didn't say it out loud. But they felt it. And that feeling shook them. Your soulmate finally understood that love isn't something that fades with time, it grows in silence, matures with distance, and deepens through longing. And last night, in the quiet darkness, they felt that depth like a wave hitting their heart. They realized how much they want to be a better person for you. They realized how much they want to show up this time with sincerity. They realized how much they want to rebuild the connection you once nurtured. They want to try. They want to heal. They want to return. But their fear keeps whispering, what if it's too late? Yet even that fear cannot stop their heart from beating your name. They fell asleep eventually, but not before making a silent promise to themselves, a promise to one day gather the courage to reach out to you. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. Maybe when their heart finally becomes brave enough. But last night was the beginning of that bravery. A shift. An awakening. A realization. And that realization was simple: their heart still belongs to you, my beloved soul. My beloved soul. As your soulmate woke up this morning after that long, emotional night, something inside them felt different. It wasn't confusion anymore. It wasn't fear. It wasn't the heaviness they carried for so long. It was clarity. A quiet, gentle clarity that whispered to them the moment they opened their eyes. The kind of clarity that comes only after a night filled with truth, reflection, and soul-awakening emotions. A clarity they could no longer ignore. Your soulmate realized that everything they felt last night wasn't random. It wasn't a passing mood. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was their heart showing them what it had been hiding for far too long. They sat on the edge of their bed, replaying everything they experienced. Every memory, every emotion, every realization. And the more they thought about it, the more they understood, they are still deeply connected to you. They tried to stand up and shake off the feeling, but your presence stayed with them like a soft echo. They walked around their room, brushing their hair, washing their face, making their coffee, but nothing distracted them from the truth. Every thought led back to you. Every feeling pointed toward you. Their mind wandered to the moments you shared. The conversations filled with warmth. The laughter that felt so natural. The comfort of knowing someone truly saw them. And suddenly, they understood why they couldn't connect deeply with anyone else after you. Because you left a permanent imprint on their soul. As the morning light entered their room, they felt something moving inside them, something like a gentle push, a soft encouragement. A sign that maybe the universe was guiding them. They wondered. Why did I feel all of that last night? Why so suddenly? Why so strongly? Why now? And then it hit them. Maybe they felt everything last night because your soul was calling to theirs. Maybe something in you awakened as well. Maybe your hearts were trying to reconnect without words, without messages, without physical presence. Soul to soul. They thought about how you must be feeling right now. Were you thinking about them too? Were you missing them? Were you sensing their energy the same way they sensed yours? And for the first time in a long time, they hoped the answer was yes. My beloved soul, your soulmate felt a sudden urge to know how you're doing. To know if you are okay. To know if your heart is healing or hurting. They felt a protective instinct rise inside them, as if they wanted to keep you safe even from afar. And the truth is, they never stopped caring. They just didn't know how to show it. As they sat with their coffee, they remembered the things you used to say, the way your eyes softened when you talked about your dreams, the way you opened your heart with trust and innocence. You shared pieces of yourself with them, pieces they didn't value enough at the time, pieces they now treasure deeply. And last night awakened something even deeper in them, the fear of losing you forever. They realized how much they would regret it if one day they woke up and you were no longer reachable, emotionally, spiritually, or even physically. This thought shook them. It made them question everything they have been doing. Why did they keep themselves so distant? Why did they never tell you how special you truly were to them? Why did they allow fear to cheat them out of something so pure? But this morning, your soulmate felt a spark of courage. A spark that wasn't there before. A spark that whispered softly, "It's time to stop running." They looked at themselves in the mirror and finally saw the truth. They were never afraid of you. They were afraid of how deeply they loved you. They were afraid to lose you. They were afraid that if they showed you their heart, you might break it. But last night showed them something powerful. Not loving you is hurting them more than the fear of heartbreak. They felt a shift inside themselves. A decision forming slowly, naturally, honestly. A decision to face their emotions instead of burying them. They thought about messaging you again. Not out of loneliness. Not out of guilt. But out of sincerity. They wanted to ask you how you are. They wanted to hear your voice. They wanted to rebuild the connection, even if it takes time. They wanted to be honest with you, maybe for the first time. But then the doubt returned. What if they don't want to hear from me? What if I'm too late? What if they've already moved on? These questions created a storm inside them. But even as the fear rose, something stronger overpowered it, their love for you. My beloved soul, they spent the whole day thinking about one thing: what if there is still a chance? They imagined what it would feel like to meet you again. To sit across from you. To look into your eyes without fear. To speak truth with honesty and vulnerability. They imagined telling you things they kept buried. You were the one person who saw me. You were the one person I should have held on to. You were the one person I never forgot. You were the one person who felt like home. And the more they imagined it, the more they realized, they don't want to imagine anymore. They want it to become real. They want to try again. They want to rebuild. They want to love you the way they couldn't before. But they don't want to rush. They don't want to pressure you. They don't want to overwhelm you. They want to come toward you slowly, gently, respectfully, because now they understand how delicate your heart is, how much you deserve sincerity and stability. As the day passed, they kept returning to one thought: I need to show them I've changed. Because they know you are not the same person either. You've grown. You've healed. You've become stronger. You've learned to value yourself. And they admire that deeply. It makes them want to step up. It makes them want to mature emotionally. It makes them want to be someone worthy of your trust. My beloved soul, by the time the evening arrived, they realized something important. They don't want to wait another year. Or another month. Or another moment. Living with silence between you. They want to take a step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain, even if it's scary. Because last night opened their heart. And this morning opened their eyes. Now, they feel ready. Ready to admit their feelings. Ready to face the past. Ready to express the truth. Ready to reconnect with you. And deep inside they hope that when they finally gather the courage to come toward you, you will feel with your heart what they felt last night.